All right, welcome to Pinball Expo 2025. This is just going to be a quick walk around of the showroom floor, just in case you guys can't be here. Not going to be going into the specifics on every little booth, but I figured this would be a nice little spot for people to just kind of use as a reference if you're wondering what is on the floor this year. Personally, I have to say, was a little underwhelmed this year compared to last year. Obviously, last year was the kind of big, I believe it was the 40th anniversary show that they had, so there were a lot more vendors, a lot more things on the floor. This year, it's definitely a little bit smaller. Not as many vendors here this year, but still cool nonetheless. Over here they have this little kind of learn to solder station, which is here every year so far that I've seen. Very little cool spot if you're looking to learn any wiring skills and you don't want to do so in your own time. This was here last year as well. They have this little corner full of old pinball machines that do not use any electricity, kind of the origins of pinball. It's very cool. The Stern booth this year is a lot smaller than last year. They took up quite a big chunk of the floor, and I noticed this year it was a little bit smaller. Got a little booth over here of just some manuals, loose items, kind of random little bits of arcade memorabilia. Over here we got the Stern booth, lots of Star Wars games on the floor, merchandise, all that stuff. It's kind of interesting. Again, there's just lots of Star Wars games. I wasn't seeing a lot of their other games. Star Wars, Kong, all that stuff. Obviously with them being kind of limited on the floor space this year, it kind of makes sense, but they got merch available on each side. They have a lot more merch this year than they did last year. I noticed last year there wasn't a whole lot of stuff to buy. It was mostly the pinball machines. But if you're looking to play the new Star Wars, they've got it here, obviously. They got some Godzillas, X-Men. And I'm going to do my best to kind of show off as much as I can. With there being a lot of different booths all in different spots, bound to miss something. Something that was a little, again, kind of underwhelming compared to last year is the lack of new releases. A lot of the new games have already been kind of released or are waiting to hit production, so a lot of this isn't new. Here's Chicago Gaming's small little booth. We've got some Cactus Canyons with the upgrade kit installed, some without the upgrade kit installed, and then they have a couple of Merlin editions over here. So if you would like to play a Merlin, they do happen to have one, or two, currently available. I know last year I was talking about getting one of these. I do have a deposit down, so I'm still waiting on mine, but hopefully they will show up soon. I was planning on getting a view of the free play section this year, but I do not believe they have a dedicated free play room, which was a little strange. I'm not sure why, if they just didn't have enough people to bring games this year or what happened, but there was no dedicated free play spot. There is a section where you can play games that are just there for free play and for sale, but little different than what they had last year. Here's the mothership that I showed off last year. It's actually functional now. You can actually play the game. The game flips and you can play to your heart's content. Very cool. And then over here we have the Homebrew section. The Homebrew section is actually kind of the centerpiece this year, which is quite interesting. Last year, the homebrew section was pretty big, but it wasn't really their main focus. But this year, there is way more attention to the homebrew scene. There's lots of cool showcases, lots of cool materials that you can buy if you're looking to make your own game, all sorts of stuff. They've got some really cool homebrew machines here. They've got a Spaceballs game. That Adventure Time from last year is here again. Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Spinball, Pokemon. And you can see in the center here, you can buy parts, different things. I was noticing a couple of these versus machines. There's like 2 homebrew versus machines this year, which was really interesting. Kind of interesting to see those make a comeback. You can see right here they've got different ramps for sale that you can use. I believe these are, reproduction ramps from other games or just new old stock. But if you'd like to use them to make your own game, you can do so. They've got boards over here. Marco has got a little spot here. Very, very cool. They've obviously got the Tony Hawk's Pro Pinball here, and they usually have that every year. It's very cool. They got Mad Max. There's the Monster League hockey. That's kind of what I was talking about. They got another versus machine. Electromechanical. And that is the homebrew section. Multimorphic's got their Portal game up for play if you would like to play that as well. A little bit of a line. They've got modules if you want to buy modules, which is very cool. They've got their Princess Bride units available. I actually was able to play a few of these last year, and I actually enjoy the way the game flips. It's an interesting idea. Pinball Brothers with Predator this year, definitely a lot more of a turnout compared to what they had for show last year. Nobody was really interested in ABBA, so hopefully this game does a little bit better. Pin Sound has a booth as usual. They always bring some tricked out games to Expo. This is Digital Playground's booth. These guys focus a lot on crazy, cool, over-the-top toppers for their games. They've also got like extra mods you can buy. You can kind of see they've got a few of their toppers for show right here. Got an Attack from Mars, Godzilla, Twilight Zone. These are really cool. Very high quality. If you've never seen one of these up in person, they're all nice acrylics. Real wire form screen. It's very nice. So this was interesting. There's a new company, I want to say, new game. I gotta go around to the other side. Big Trouble in Little China. Lots of new companies popping up nowadays, which is quite interesting. If you've been in the pinball scene for a while, you'll know that in the mid-2000s, pinball was kind of on its last legs. There really weren't a lot of people making games. There wasn't too much of an interest in it. And everything kind of exploded after around 2016. More manufacturers started popping up, new games started coming out, and I'm a little worried we're about to enter an era of oversaturation if we haven't already. It's obviously very cool to see all these new machines popping up, but you know, pinball is very much a niche hobby, so you got to be kind of careful about how many you have on the market at any given point. You could end up, again, causing a bit of an oversaturation. Over here we got Great American Pinball's booth. I'm going to swing back around and show all the Evil Deads because there's some really cool side armor that's been put on those. Game resellers. Gotta love game resellers. And then just random showcase games, some rare machines, some unique games, just all kind of set for free play. You can see there's some more of these really old games for free play here. Wood rails, very cool. This is really cool. These pinball restorations here. This Simpsons Pinball Party with alternate decals, a fire with powder-coated side armor. This Dracula. It looks really, really nice. New Translite. I think this is Dutch Pinball's booth. This is really all they have this year. Nothing too much to say. They still got Alice out here for people to play.
Let's see if I can get a wide body.
Here is Great American's booth. They've got a bunch of spooky games for free play and a couple of really cool projects. These all have custom armor on them. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're all very in-depth, very cool powder coating. This was also neat. There's game's got some issues right now, but there's a King Kong whitewood here. This is very neat. And then the black and white Addams Family and Twilight Zone. These are really cool. Lots of restoration services I'm noticing this year, which is actually really cool. I like that there are more places you can go to nowadays to restore your games. Here's a new game. I believe this is by Hexa. New company as well, again kind of going with the theme. I saw this one last year for a very brief moment, but never actually got to play it, so I might swing back around and give this a play at some point. Looks like they're some of them are selling, one of them already sold, so that's kind of interesting. Here's the other side of the Pin Sound booth with some of these tricked out games. And then I'll swing over here shortly, but these are all just kind of games for sale for free play. I'll probably do those last. Over here is the Flippin' Out booth. Not too big this year, but they definitely have a lot of cool showpieces. They've got the new game from Barrels of Fun over here. This line's a little bit shorter than the main line, so if you want to play this game, I'd recommend doing it at the Flippin' Out booth. Very nice. You know, I'm not really sure if it's just because it's early, but I do remember from last year, a lot of the people, you know, a part of these companies like Flippin' Out, Spooky, you know, they were all here, you know, on the floor, kind of talking to people, selling merch, doing all that stuff. I'm not really noticing that this year. As a matter of fact, Spooky does not even have a booth this year. They're not even at Pinball Expo, which is quite interesting. I'm sure they're busy working on their newest game, getting ready for that to get out the door. But still kind of interesting that they don't even have a booth. I guess the assumption is that, well, they sold out of, you know, all their Evil Deads. They're working on Evil Dead. And their new machine is about to be announced, but they haven't quite announced it yet. I figured, you know, Pinball Expo would be the perfect you know, opportunity to announce that, but hey, you know, to each their own. Here's that gutted Genesis, if you've seen that online. This was really cool. This roller coaster tycoon topper. It actually interacts while you're playing the game, and there's a real toy roller coaster that actually moves up and does a loop and all that stuff. It's actually really, really cool. Not too sure how you'd end up fitting that in your house though, but hey, you know, still neat. I think it's kind of funny to have a topper that in depth for a game that doesn't really go for that much money. Coils and Transformers. It's actually cool. You can buy new Transformers now. Transformers are notoriously annoying and difficult to make, so it's cool to see those. These look like start buttons, plungers, stuff like that. And then here is the Jersey Jack booth. Of course, they have plenty of Harry Potters of various editions available for play and purchase. So if you have not played Harry Potter, you can do so here. Very cool. I managed to play this game a little bit not too long ago, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually quite fun. The shots are really unique, and there's a lot of cool ball paths. So it'll be interesting to see how that game holds up. I'm curious to see how well it does on location once more numbers start coming in, because they've been kind of trickling out slowly. Turner has a bit more of a in-depth booth this year. They have a couple of their Merlin arcades available. It actually looks like 2 of them have already sold, so they've got 1 more for sale, and then they have a Ninja Eclipse. If you haven't managed to play one of these yet, I highly recommend it. They're doing quite well for a startup in the pinball space. They even have this little game over here that you can kind of look at their overall designs and how they make their games. It's very modular. They kind of do the whole old Sega of Japan glass idea, if you know what I'm talking about. Barrels of Fun has a booth, although I will not be able to get a walkthrough because it's on a line basis, but they have Dune and the new game available for free play. Lots of people in line to play that, obviously, because it was just announced a few days ago. Again, you know, it's strange that a lot of these announcements are being made at weird times. I would, you know, you announce it closer to Expo, there's more hype around it. People don't have a chance to play it yet. More game resellers, I'm not really going to go over this. X-Pin booth, they always have a booth each year. Lots of boards, driver boards you can use for homebrew or replacements. Mods booth, as they always have each year. These guys make really, really cool mods. They have a lot of unique stuff for sale. They're always very well done. You can see these Metallica remastered mods you can buy. They always look very well done. Some of them are 3D printed, but I still think they all look really, really cool. Foo Fighters, Cactus Canyon, Godzilla 70th, all sorts of cool stuff. See, I couldn't imagine just buying a machine right away. I'd have to wait until maybe towards the end of the day to do something like that. I was seeing this game last year. I don't know who made it. Vetsfall? They've got 2 games here. We got Super Hoop and Tokyo Perfect Drift. These are all single level games, but they've got a lot of flow. And then over here, a Blues Brothers. They don't have them available for play, but this is the home pin electromechanical single level kind of cheap game that came out a while ago. I have not heard anybody talking about this game. Probably for good reason, right? I feel like if nobody's talking about it, there's probably a reason. And then I'm going to do kind of a loop. And again, I'm not going to get every single game that's available for free play right now, just because that would take too much time. And to be quite honest, the selection is not really the greatest this year. Again, not trying to be pessimistic or anything like that. Obviously, this show is a great fun time, especially if you love pinball. I just think the selection's a little lacking this year. Lots of duplicates, lots of kind of mid-'80s games, all that stuff. You got the row of Jersey Jacks from last year. It's very cool. But with that being said, there's obviously a couple of machines that you may not see all the time, like an original Dungeons and Dragons. There is a Indiana Jones unrestored for free play over there, which is cool. Pinball rotisseries for sale. I may actually pick one of those up. I'm currently working on a project, so that might work out. A lot of these games over here are from past times in, I believe, Ohio. So if you've ever been to that arcade, some of these games you'll recognize. Some of these are for sale, some of them aren't for sale. And then over here, there's just some random vendors. Obviously, you got the Brian Allen booth. He's here every year selling some really good, really well put together artwork and alternate translates. Might actually, again, pick one of those up. I think it's cool. Over here is the Alice in Wonderland booth with the mythical, super cheap, affordable home pinball machine. Last year this was just a concept, but they are, I give them props. They managed to bring it to market, supposedly. We haven't actually seen them in the hands of people just yet, but very cool. Not a lot of buzz over here though. Very interesting. Be interesting to see if that does well, and if they can actually deliver on the price point that they say they are going to deliver at. I doubt it, but hey, you never know. It's definitely very cool. Again, last year they didn't really have anything at all to really show. They were just kind of, hey, trust us guys, I promise. But this year they actually have something, so very cool. And over there, that little banner right there, that American Pinball sign, that is the entirety of the American Pinball booth. Also, here's Pin Snake. If you don't have a pin stick, you should buy one. They're very good if you work on pinball at all. Very useful tool. I'm honestly surprised somebody didn't come up with that one sooner. Looks like Planetary has a booth as well. There's the Williams mat. I actually bought one of these last year. I love these things. They're super cool. They got the cool lights as well. But this right here, this little American Pinball Galactic Tank Force, that is all of American at this entire show. There is nothing else American Pinball. Last year I kind of said there was, writing on the wall. And it seems like I was correct. There's still Cuphead supposedly coming out, but today would have been the day to reveal it. I'm not really sure what they're waiting for. If it has something to do with, logistical stuff, you never know. But it's all just speculation right now. But, obviously, not fun to see a company go under, especially when they're trying. But you never know. Anyway, that is pretty much it. Again, not too much this year. If you're in the pinball space and you've been in the pinball space for a while, again, I'd say it's definitely a little less involved than it was last year, but still a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool vendors, lots of cool people. I can tell it's definitely not as busy as well. Last year there were so many people here, it was honestly hard to even figure out where you were going, but this year it's a little bit different.